All right, guys, let's check out the Bremont S300 SuperMarine. This is a watch that Bremont actually reached out to me via email asking if I wanted to see one. And of course, the answer is yes. Actually, it just stopped running. I had wound this yesterday, hoping to do the video yesterday. I didn't do it. So here we are today, getting at it. So let's get this thing started up. Let's move these hands out of the way. Yeah, this is all stuff I could have done before I started the video, obviously. But yeah, here we are. Let's go like right there. As you can clearly see, it's a hackable, windable movement, all operated via the crown. Plenty of traction on there, easy to use. Now let's get into this thing. Let's talk about the size as we zoom in so you can take a closer look as we talk about it. So the case width is 40 millimeter. The lug to lug is 49 millimeter. You're going to instantly notice the case construction here, and that's one of the highlights of this watch. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. The thickness, only 12.9 millimeter. That's including that double dome sapphire crystal. And of course, you have a ceramic bezel insert on this 120 click bezel. Unidirectional, meaning that it only goes in this one direction. Lines up perfect, no play in it, solid construction. 20 millimeter lug width, so you can have any strap that's 20 millimeter should be able to make its way into there. This one is a pretty heavy duty rubber type material, and you can see it's kind of contoured to follow the flow of the case. I find that there's no, it doesn't structure downward after it leaves the case, so it tends to squeeze the fat on my wrist a little more than I would prefer. Now, I don't know if this will break in over time, meaning like flex a little bit, but you can get this on bracelet, or of course you could, wear it on a different strap. So that would be like my main pick on this particular one they sent over would be the rubber strap. I would like to have seen that like kind of pivot, like come out like this and then pivot down a little bit better. 6.9 millimeter screw down crown, keeping the 300 meter water depth rating on there. You can see it says 300 meter or 980 feet. Close enough. You have the date at the 3 o'clock position, and then you have 1269 Arabics at the cardinal positions, and then you have a very good classic timeless handset there, as well as a angled chapter ring pointing out the every 5 marker. Down at the bottom, on that chapter ring, it says London. So that's pretty cool too. Definitely, if you are near that area, this one might have a little more romance to it for you for the purchasing of it. Inside is an automatic movement. They call it a BE92AE, otherwise known as either a premium grade ETA 2892 or SW300, because it is a chronometer grade. So it's not COSC, because that's reserved for Swiss watches. So this one's rather a chronometer grade, meaning that it meets similar specifications of timekeeping accuracy. Now, the case, back to the case construction, because it's pretty wild. We're going to zoom in a little bit more, maybe? Okay, yeah, as long as it'll focus. This is called the triptych construction. It's basically, you can see this part here, the black, that's actually DLC coated. So that'll be nice scratch resistant coating. You can see that's like the main core or main part of the construction that'll house the movement, the case back, and then additionally on top of that you have basically the lug construction and the top plate here, which is where like the bezel would attach the sapphire crystal and to kind of close things up a little bit. Now the stainless steel that Bremont uses is also further hardened for scratch resistant. So in its entirety, you have a very resilient watch here. You have DLC, you have hardened stainless steel, you have ceramic, you have sapphire. So it'll be a very well, easy to wear and not worry about potential scratches from accidental contact with other things. It should hold up pretty dang well. As you can see, a closer look at the dial there, it does say SuperMarine 300 meter at the just above the 6 o'clock. You have Bremont logo with the aeronautical logo just below there, kind of like underlying it. That's like the propeller from a plane, as well as it's on the crown. And just an overall handsome watch. Now, this handsome watch also comes with a handsome price. I think I did the conversion correctly. US price is $3,795. Now, that's the suggested retail. I'm sure there's potential opportunity for discounts on there, but I mean, this thing's, you know, in between that $35,000 and $4,000 range. It opens you up for a lot of other watches. So that's where I say, like, the tie to London or the history with Bremont or whatever it is that is going to draw you towards it. Maybe you just fancy the watch, period, just the way it looks. And, you know, it's kind of like the second kind of cool where, like, nobody can really question that. Be like, well, that watch is, you know, this much, and then you could have got this. And it's just like, yeah, but I like this watch. So why would I get another watch? That's why there's so many watches, guys. That's why Bremont has, you know, a full line of watches. And that's why they have a diver, and they have, you know, more of a field watch style. They have a bunch of different great watches. So let's pop this on my 7 1/4 inch wrist to see what that looks like. And you can kind of see here, as great as this strap is. I mean, it is a very heavy duty strap. I really wish, and maybe it will break in, I don't know, but you can kind of see where it at least squeezes the fat of my wrist. And, you know, that's just the way this one works. But I suspect this thing would be great on bracelet, and that would be the way I would go, because it's probably not that much more money to get the bracelet model. I would just go for that. That's what I'm thinking. So let's blast this thing with some UV light to stimulate the lume. See where all the lume is. I don't know, I'm not really seeing much on the dial. Let's kill the studio lights and see how this thing performs in the dark. Okay, so absent is any lume on the dial, we basically have the pip, the hour, minute, and the seconds hand. That's it. I was kind of surprised to see that on a diver. So there you go. There is the look at the Bremont. If you like it, you like it. And I think it's a great looking watch. I'll see you guys on the next vid.